Hi friends, in this tutorial I'll be looking at a basic feature in Yii which we call HTML helpers. So HTML helper help you write your HTML in the normal way you write your code and your tag. Instead of you can actually Yii has a way of helping you write your HTML too. It might not be the easiest or the fastest ways, but sometimes we find it more relevant in implementing it in the way of Yii because it has some special feature that is being attached to it than writing it in plain HTML. So we'll be looking at some of the few things, some of the few features. We'll probably design some section in the back end. Maybe we'll create a controller or pick one of the we'll create the action in our product controller, and at least we'll be able to design some HTML and test some of the major HTML part that we have in Yii. So I'll go to controller product. So let's say I'll have action called helper. Yeah, at least that should do. So let's return a view. This does return. So let's call our view name helper2. So we need to create PHP file. So we'll call it helper. The file name that I created there is what which is this without the .php extension. So let's give it a try and see if we'll have helper action in our so let's say we have helper. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be rendered. We are rendering the view. So we have everything is working fine. Let's close our tag and just give a dummy to be sure we have, yes, everything is working fine. So we're looking at some of the features of our HTML part, but before we start we need to include the HTML part class into our view. So we use Yii web helper use, let's say helper so it is you use Yii helpers then HTML. So this is our class that will make use of to display some features. So to start with, let's start with our tag. We call it. So anytime I want to make use of it, we'll start with HTML. Then this will give us series of options in case we have IDE that supports Yii. So this will give you options. So let's start with tag. Tags allows us to create a tag, the normal tag we have, basic tag we have in HTML. So we can just create a tag, any tags you want. So in this, our first parameter that will pass will be the tag name. It could be P, which is for paragraph. It could be H1, H2 to H6. It could be div, anything it might be. So that would be the first parameter that we're passing into the tag helper. So the second thing will be the content. The content, let's say inside the PHP we want to say this is testing of HTML helper. So the third parameter is, in case you want to pass, the third parameter is your maybe additional features, additional elements you want to add, options. So for our options, maybe we want to add class to it. You can say let's say well. I mean, that will give us a special effect or a special look. So let's give this a try and see how it happens. Oh, we need to echo this. We need to echo it. So we have a paragraph created. So if we inspect this page, we see that we have paragraph created with the class of well. So we can also have an example of echo HTML. Maybe you want your you can have as any options you want. Maybe you want it to be div, or you want it to be H1, you want it to be H2, H3, 4. So many other stuff you might want to be looking at in your. So maybe you want to have a span. You want to have I to italize. You want to have so many things like that. Let's say we're looking at HR, horizontal rule as well. So you can leave this. Then for this, maybe we want to add font awesome. Let's say FA user. So for our span, what do we want to add in our span? This is for span. So for H4, you can have this is header 4. This is header 4. So let me copy this. So here we can have this is header 3. Header 2. Header 1. So let's say for div, we want to have this is div. So let's add a ID to it. So we need to make sure this is an array for our options. So we want to add ID. Our ID is div ID div1. So let's come to our page and refresh. Now we have this is div. This to H4 is working. This is span also is working, but this is not properly. This is for span, worked well. This is for span, worked well. Maybe I want to add, let's say I had break to this place as well, BR. So but but we need to encode this. It's not, we don't want to see this text. So how do we do that? So that's where we need to use HTML encode as well. So you can say HTML encode. So no, this is not what we want to encode. This. So no, HTML decode. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be empty, while your class is what we have. Class is what we have this. So looking at it very well, we have this in our class. So probably we don't have font or some added to our so we don't have font awesome added. But let's see if we can quickly add font awesome. Let's say we have font awesome link here. So So let's copy this and include this here. Let's say we have a link. Front end, our views, layouts, main. Application assets. So let me go to application assets for this. So for CSS, good, it now works. So that's how you tend to have some of the basic HTML helper that Yii can offer, and there is more to that as well. So which includes us adding other features like you can add button, you can add and you can encode, you can decode, you can add button, submit button, reset button, input, and other stuff like that. So let's just give a sample of few of this. You have echo. Let's echo HTML. You have button, and the first parameter that button accepts is the name of the button. Let's say submit. Will be the value. And what's the next thing? Probably is option. Maybe you want to add the class. You can call it class. You can add btn large, and you can say, let's say, btn success. So that's for button. Also, we can have other button as well. We have other button which we can call reset button. Set button. We can have submit button as well. Submit button. So these are some of the few things you can. Let's change the primary. Let's change this to warning. So we can see the differences among them. So let's look at other HTML helper like inputs. So we have HTML inputs. So the first parameter of the input is what the type string you want to have there. So we say text. You can have text. You can have some other things like that. Text area. Let's say we have text first. So the name you want the input to be, let's say we'll call it surname. Then the value, do you want it to have any default value? Let's say we'll call the default value Femi. And the options, do you want to have any default option? So let's add a class of form control. Form control. So looking at the name, discover that the name is surname, so the value is Femi. So most of the time you tend to leave this empty or null. You null it, make sure that it is empty. And also, in case you want to add your placeholder, you can also have a placeholder here. So to be surname. Yes. So, and also don't forget that you can have label. Let's say echo HTML label. So what do you want your label to be? Let's say surname. Surname. So what is it for? It is for this surname that we have here. So we'll call it surname, meaning it is for this particular input. So the next thing is option. So let's just leave the option empty. So let me break this line. Just copy this and paste it. So let me double that. So this is a form sample that you can have, and also we can have radio button and other checkbox stuff like that. So we have echo. So you can just go to your official website and see some of the features that some of the HTML helpers that are available. We have radio. So radio will be the string name. What do you want the name to be? Maybe let's call it privacy. We want the privacy to be accepted. And what do you want it to be checked, to be selected by default? no, you don't want it to be selected by default. So we need to leave it empty, so we will null it. So the next thing is what do we want the radio name to be? So let's say label, and we'll use let's use this radio for sex, so we say male, so let's say sex, and I'll duplicate this, so I'll use this for female. So let's see how it looks like on our browser. So I can switch between each of them. So that is for, so we have a couple of more options, like checkbox. We could just change this to checkbox. So for checkbox, they still have the same thing that we want it to be. So we can either make the leaving this, let's say checkbox. We want to look at privacy policy, let's say privacy, or agreement. Leaving it alone means it should be unchecked by default. Should be unchecked by default. So making this true means it should be checked. So some of the few things you can look into. So let me add break to this place, so we can all see if some of the few things I'm doing before I end this tutorial. So we can look at drop down list. So drop down list. So in your drop down list you can have let's say we want gender for the name. So the second thing would be the array, what you want the array to be, the selection. So what you want the selection to be, let's leave this empty. And so the items, what would the items be? Let's say we have male and female. So we still have another parameter, which is the option. That's when, in case you want to have class or ID or whatever it is you want to have. Let's say from control. So we have a drop down. So another thing we can actually look into is we can look into our let's say we want to go for image. So how do we display image? So displaying of image is very easy. So what we just need to do is we'll end this and echo HTML, and we'll say image img. So the first thing is, where is the source of the image? So that's where we need to look at web, meaning we want the default location where our end, maybe the backend is loading from. So our backend is loading from web, no, not admin. It's loading from this place. So we need to select the image, web. Then what's the next thing? Let's look at upload. Then we select this name. Let me copy the name. Let me look at refactor, and from there I'll copy the name. So it's going to be uploads /this. So do I want to add any options? So let's say I want to add class. Class is let's say img round, and I want to add out to it. So I'll save on view. This is not showing. Uploads, advanced admin. I think it should show. Oh, some of these things might not make it. So let me rename it. So the factor. Let's say img1. So I'll rename this from what it is right now. So img1. So we have our image displayed. So lastly, before I go, maybe you can check online from some of other HTML features. You can look into lists. So let's echo. Then we'll have HTML, and we have list. We have another list, and we have another list. We have ordered list as well. So anyone you want to choose. So from an ordered list, so we can have what would be the items. So the items can be let's say A, B, let's see, let me try that. See, so let's leave our options and refresh. So we have ABC as a list. So in case you want to have ordered list, also you can just do the same thing. You can have your ordered list. So these are some of the few things you can actually learn. So, but why instead of using all this, you can, if you are so familiar with the HTML, why not just use HTML instead of the using the upper? Like in case you want to write your P, you know how to write your P easily. If your H1. H1 to H6, in case you want to write your I tag, italize, so you can do all these things easily. In case you want to write your submit button, you can just easily write your button. So this is just to push you through how you can write your HTML in using Yii2. So thank you very much. In case you have any question or comment in the comment section below, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Thank you.